Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here on the Scoop Studio at Apex 2019. I'm joined by Mathieu from AsteelFlash. Mathieu, you're taking care of the kind of sales operation in the whole of the Americas?
Correct.
The whole of the Americas. Tell me a bit about the strategy there and how it perhaps differs north of the border and south of the border and kind of where you're seeing growth.
Sure. So, as you just mentioned, I handle the business development and the program managers for the Americas region. So, basically in touch with all our customers, existing and new ones. And so our strategy really is different according to the region, right? So we have our Fremont facility in the Bay Area where we focus a little bit more on electromechanical assemblies, complex builds with a lot of value add, right? Usually very big products from a size perspective that cannot really that don't really make sense to outsource to a low-cost manufacturing because of the shipping costs, right? So we have that approach with a lot of engineering resources that brings value and design services to our local customers, but U.S. and domestic customers as well. And then Tijuana in Mexico at the border with San Diego is really more of a, I would say, mass production type of environment with higher volumes. But we do also bring a lot of value-added services from that site. So that's, I think, a differentiator compared to some of our competitors. We have local staffed engineering team in Tijuana that can handle NPIs and new designs. So it's not really the model that everybody know from the industry where you have to design somewhere domestic and then once it's mature you transfer somewhere else, right? Our Tijuana site can actually take new projects from the get-go and support with new designs, NPI, and then mass production.
Yeah, and that's really important. And actually I spent a bit of time in the last couple of years in Guadalajara, and I've noticed there that when I first started going to Guadalajara, it was just business being pushed down from California or from anywhere else. Now there are many more local initiatives, there's local innovation. Is that happening in Tijuana as well? Is that something that's happening throughout Mexico?
It definitely is. So actually we're hiring a lot of people that brings this design expertise, and they're no longer manufacturing engineers that needs to execute, and like our customers comes and say, here's this design, build it. It's more of a collaborative approach. We're involved at the very early stage of the project, and then we have like 2, 3, 4 iterations, respins that we can do ourselves with PCB relayout, with mechanical design validation, and all these peripheral services. And then we support the industrialization and making it possible for higher volume production locally.
And you talked a bit about design. Design's becoming an important element of a good EMS offering, particularly on a global basis. You have design currently in France and Germany, I believe.
Right.
That's coming to the US as well. Tell me a bit about that development.
Exactly. So we have an hybrid model right now. We're putting the plan right now together to have our own design center in the US, which would probably be in Fremont or in San Diego. We're still thinking about it, and that would support both our facilities right now. But we also have capabilities that we have in Europe that can transfer very easily to the US. And some of the, I would say, the advantages of that is our design centers in Europe have been 20 or 30 years, in activity. And so they have a lot of experience in industrial design, in mechanical design, in electrical design, and that experience we can actually transfer to the US. So we have several projects where we have a Denver-based customer or we have a California-based customer. They're looking at a different panel of design services next to them, and we all know the wages in California are not really helping anyone doing business locally. So we have local technical point of contacts that can handle that conversation locally and then work with our design centers in Europe overnight and have this done smoothly, right? So we just to give you a very precise example, we just redesigned 2 PCBAs. We had to relay it out and to add test points for functional testing, and we designed full-blown test fixtures. And that was done with our technical contact here, plus our team in France, and then we actually shipped these fixtures to Tijuana, and it was still more competitive than having them manufactured locally. Yeah. So that's something that we can bring to the table.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. I talked to Albert earlier about the commonality of platforms throughout manufacturing, and meaning you can design for AsteelFlash, you don't have to design for Mexico, design for
Correct.
the US, design for Europe. That's essential. But that needs to be true in design as well. You need consistent platforms across everywhere.
And so the way we're set up, and I'm not sure if Albert touched that point, but we went through a lot of acquisitions in our story at AsteelFlash, but we stopped in 2012. And basically since then we've just been working on standardizing our tools, our systems, our IT, our machines. And so that makes it possible, right? Because if you don't have the same equipment, then you cannot really ask somebody sitting on the other side of the world to make a product like ready for manufacturing in Tijuana, which has a different machine. So right now we have the same SMT lines everywhere, same ERP, same MES, right? So all of that helps us making it very smooth to either design projects from wherever we want or transfer projects from one site to the other very smoothly.
And are you finding in the US, I mean, when you look at the mix of brands and startups, there's lots of new companies that need design expertise. They certainly need industrialization expertise. Is that a strong market for you?
So it is, particularly in the Bay Area. That's where a lot of the startups are actually taking form, right? So we're involved there. I would say that we try to be selective in the startups that we work with. We have a lot of examples of startups that we worked at the very early stage and now they're billion-dollar companies, right? So we're very proud of that. And we want to go after really everything. But whenever we think that there is a good fit to grow together, then that's where we really will focus. So we have a good mix, I would say, of startups, and then also, I would say startups, but that have been on the market, they have maybe a second generation coming or third generation coming. And that's really where we can bring also a lot of value because we can really industrialize it and make it scalable, right?
Yeah, and that's where the partnership becomes really important and your ability to manufacture it anywhere in the world where their market is.
Correct.
Mathieu, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for coming by, and I look forward to chatting again.
Appreciate it.